Hey everyone, I want to tell you a little bit about a guy who's one of those behind-the-scenes guys that I want to be. Like, when Kiefer Sutherland returned to TV on Touched or whatever, like, maybe you'd think that, oh, I really liked 24, therefore, I'm going to watch this other show with Kiefer, and I'm sure it'll be great, right? But no. They're incongruous. They are not the same thing. They are an actor appearing in one thing and an actor appearing in another thing. They are not the same creative direction or anything. What you really are looking for is this guy, which you've already seen in the title, Howard Gordon. Howard Gordon is one of those people you never see. He's not an actor. He doesn't appear on frame. He doesn't even, I don't think he even really does promotion for his own shows because he doesn't need to, because the actors do all that for him. But you need to know, if you're at all interested in a number of these shows, who Howard Gordon is and what he's done. He's 50 years old now, so he's still, I'd say, in this industry, he's got plenty of longevity left. He did some random stuff in the early 90s that I would not say it really got him anywhere. But in 1997, he did a couple episodes of The X-Files. He served as a producer. That's not a bad start. Then he jumped over to Buffy the Vampire Slayer and co-wrote an episode. Okay, not bad. Tim Kring is one of Joss Whedon's earliest writers. He worked on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He went on to create Heroes. Him and Howard Gordon co-created a show that only lasted one season called Strange World, which I've never heard of before, whatever. But after that went to pot, Tim and Howard Gordon made Angel. So basically the reason a spinoff of Buffy exists is because this show failed and these two guys were free. So Angel came to exist. Awesome. Then Howard Gordon left that show after... It seems like a lot of showrunners like to get a show running, literally, and then they leave. Like, they're like, okay, there, now it's free to go. I will serve as executive producer and continue to reap all the financial benefits of this production, but I am no longer running it. It is someone else's duty now. Ha, duty. So anyway, after he left Angel, he went on to create 24, which, as we know, is an amazing show. It was the longest-running espionage show in history. Although Carter does not agree with me, I felt that it went out on a great note with the last season, especially the final episodes. I thought they were fantastic in the way that the series should have ended. And it's also a good setup for the movie, but that's a whole nother thing. And then he did a couple of other things, like after he did a show called The Inside, which I've never heard of. It didn't do very well. But then he became the full showrunner of 24 from season 5 through its end, which was season 8. Now, he has produced the show Homeland. He created it, he served as a producer, and I think he wrote some of the episodes. Alicia and I watched the entirety of Homeland, which is 12 episodes, I think in 4 days, maybe 5. I don't watch shows back to back. Like, if I'm really enjoying a show, I stretch it out. Like, I will only watch an episode a day because I don't want it to be over. Homeland, there was absolutely no way I could do that. It was so engrossing, so involving, so interesting, so well written that I just could not stop watching. And it's this freaking guy's fault. Howard Gordon. I'm going to say his name again. Now, if you haven't seen commercials for it everywhere, you're probably not watching NBC. Awake is Howard Gordon's next show. And we've watched the first 2 seasons of it. I mean, first 2 seasons. We are way ahead. We watched the first 2 episodes of it. And it's pretty good so far. In case you're not familiar, Awake is about a guy who, and the show deliberately doesn't give us very much information, which makes me wonder where it's going. But that's fine. That's part of the allure of the show. The protagonist, this guy who's played by Lucius Malfoy, of all people, is in a car accident. And I mean, this is the first 5 seconds of the show. He's in a car accident. His wife is in the passenger seat. His son is in the back seat. When he wakes up, and I don't know which one is first because the show doesn't show us. When he wakes up, one of them is alive. Then when he goes to sleep and he wakes up again, the other one is alive. Not only that, but his entire world is different. He's a cop and he's a detective, and he has one partner in one world, a different partner in another world. Because he's been in an awful car accident, the force has put him into therapy. In one world, he has one therapist. In another world, he has another therapist. And one of the most interesting things about these therapists, one of them is played by Cherry Jones, who, 24, she was the president. These therapists are pretty much diametrically opposed. The male therapist believes that this is all in your head. Obviously, I'm real because he's there. I'm real. This is obviously the real world. The other world that you're experiencing is a delusion. It's all in your head. It's part of the PTSD that you're going through. Cherry Jones's therapist says, whatever you experience is your reality. So for all intents and purposes, you cannot ignore either world. You have to assume that they are both real, which makes me think that that has to be the fake world, but I don't think the answer is that simple. Anyway, the point is, Howard Gordon makes some very intriguing television. When I'm picking new shows to watch or to check out, I like to look at the talent behind the camera. That's where I get my direction from. That's where I'm like, I'm watching Howard Gordon's next show because Homeland kicks so much butt. I can't wait to see what he does with Awake. And by the way, Homeland is definitely destined for a second season. There are already details being announced, which if you've seen Homeland yet and you've seen the ending of the first season, it almost seems like a closed loop where it could just end there. Kind of like a season of Dexter, where it's like a story, story end. Next story, story beginning, story end. That's kind of the way Homeland felt, but I'm really excited for the second season. Anyway, that's a guy you should know. Definitely, if you're at all interested in television, this is the guy you should be watching. Click.